Hello and welcome to another Division video. In this video I will fulfill another request I got, and the request was to present you my striker build, classified striker build I was using in my previous run. You will see the video in my list on my YouTube channel. Just check it out if you haven't done it already, and yeah, show you the stats I was using there. So let's get right into the build here. As you see, is a 6-piece striker build. And one thing I figured out, I did many test runs with this build in the Dark Zone, in some missions, in the Underground. The video I uploaded was already also from Underground, in the Dark Zone, and I tested it out really a lot for PvE. Yeah, usually I run this as a PvE build, so that's my main focus here. And one thing I figured out is it's not that much worth going into stamina that much for PvE, because I just need a little bit of stronger heal for PvE, me personally. But it's the same like every build video, this one too, so you should just use it as an inspiration for yourself, and that's awesome. So I check out many build videos by myself too. But the most important thing, just to say it one more time, I mentioned it also on my previous build videos, but don't copy it one-to-one for yourself. Really, you have to figure out what works for you the best. So there is no single best gear out there. It has to suit your playstyle, and that, yeah, you have to feel comfortable with it. So just let inspire you from my build here and test it out for yourself and see what works for you. But as I said, for me personally, going too much into stamina, it's not worth using. So this is the highest amount I think for me personally that makes sense, with about 6,000, and that is the reason because of the striker bonus, as you see here. So let's get right into the chest piece I'm using. Of course, every gear piece is striker classified, so I don't have to mention this here. It's the same stats as before in 1.7, so skill haste, health and ammo capacity. Yeah, for me personally, skill haste is still pretty viable and useful, so I will not change this that fast on this build here. An option you would have, if you feel comfortable enough, let's say it this way, and enough health, then you can change health to enemy armor damage to deal a little bit more damage, in my opinion. As you see, the gear is not maxed out, so I missed some division tech, but it's a plan, of course, to max out this as well. But as I said, first of all, I tried to test this out before I start to max out some roles. That's the reason why. So the mods I'm using is every time, not on everyone, but all our skill haste mods. These here are both stamina ones, as you see, to reach the 6k on stamina. And just quickly to go over the striker gear set bonuses, but I think most of you know it already. So stability 20%, enemy armor damage 10%, then striker's battle gear where you have increased damage, and this is really nice, especially the 6-piece after. Should just skip the one here. 5 is an increased version of 2 and 3, which means 10% stability, 30% in total. That's awesome, especially for me. My aim is not the best on console, so that's a really nice thing. And 5% enemy armor damage as well. So then the 6-piece bonus, and that's a lot better as in 1.5 in my opinion, because in 1.7 I used a different setup. I just used the 4-piece bonus combined with some other gear pieces. You can check out the video, it's still in my gameplay, in my list on my channel. But the thing that changed, you can stack up much faster, and it works better to increase the damage and the heal you get. Yeah, the heal in my opinion is still not that high, but I have a solution for this, so that's why you read in the title it's the Supercharged version, and I will explain you why after. And it has to do with the guns. So the talents here, I think you know it already, so you can read it by yourself if you want to. And the bottom one, every hit increased the bonus damage from striker battle gear by an additional 1%, means for each shot you have a damage increased of 2%, so it went double as fast. A missing shot drops the bonus just for 1%, and that's really awesome. Just to show you quickly, and I thought they did a change, or they mentioned to do a change with the Showstopper as well, but they didn't do it. So they thought once, I think, that you have just single slots like in the Medved, but it's not true. So you have 8 bullets all the time, which means 16 stacks when you hit all shots. And as you see, couple shots and 100% more damage means a lot damage with the Showstopper. So it's really awesome with this gun, in my opinion, to stack up Striker. And of course you can use it to kill NPCs as well. So that's a really nice change on the 6-piece bonus for Striker, and that's the reason why I think it's really useful to have this now, the 6-piece bonus on Striker battle gear. So let's go ahead to the mask. Mask I'm using firearms, skill power and damage to elites. And of course, as I said before, not maxed out. I will do this later. And the mod is again a stamina skill haste mod. Then the knee pad is skill power, bleed, burn, damage to elites. So they're pretty nice. And one change I did is I rolled here skill power instead of health. And yeah, just to increase my heal a little bit, that I have a higher heal from the skills I'm using. And it works pretty well for me, so just test it out for you if it works for you as well. And you see here I have an electronics skill haste mod, and this one probably a little bit special, but I'll explain it to you later, a support station healing speed mod. Let's go ahead to the chest, not the chest, the holster, why I always mix it up. You see pretty nice stats, but not maxed out. I don't say it anymore. And again, of course, the same prototype performance mod on this one. Then the gloves, they are a little bit special probably, not that damage-like, but you have different options here as well, of course. It's a stamina roll, shotgun damage, LMG damage and skill haste, and it depends which weapon you use the most. As you will see, I use on this build for PvE an LMG and a shotgun, of course, and that's why I have these 2 damages here. If you just use mainly one weapon, then you can swap out one weapon damage to, if you play PvE, I would roll it into enemy armor damage, and otherwise you can do crit chance or crit damage, of course, as well. As you see here, I have another one with a assault rifle. I still can reroll one stat here, and I will probably reroll assault rifle damage for SMG, because I just figured out the house works really awesome with this build as well. Of course you could just roll crit damage as well, but yeah, me personally, I'm not that huge fan of crits for PvE. I just rely more on pure weapon damage and enemy armor damage for PvE. And the backpack, firearms, skill power here as well, to increase the heal and ammo capacity. Yeah, it's pretty nice, especially with the Showstopper. You need a lot of bullets, and that's why it's really nice to have a bigger magazine, more space in your backpack for bullets. That's really awesome. And the mods here, it's again electronics and skill haste mod and support station healing mod. So as next, let's go to the weapons, and of course you have other options as well. If you don't have these 2 exotics, then you have other options of course as well. So here you see the first reason why I mean supercharged on this one. That's the second or the middle talent here, predatory. And yeah, responsive, I think I don't have to explain it, makes sense with a shotgun. Of course you always shoot in close range. And the second one, predatory, if you read the talent, killing a target regenerates 35% health over 20 seconds. So which means with this one I do have survivability, max health 308,000 health. 35% means about a third of it. It's more than 100,000 health you get back from this talent. And if you have a look on this one here, even the overdose, you see self-heal 114,000. So as you see with the predatory, you get almost an overdose back, but over time. And this is a really nice thing in my opinion. So that works pretty well. So I think predatory, it's one of the better talents in this patch here, because yeah, you run higher stamina on most of the builds, so you don't have to care about that much as earlier to reach the minimum amount you have to stack into stamina, 4,790. So that's a really awesome talent on this gun. Then the secondary I'm using is the big Alejandro. I do really like this gun, not only from the optics, it looks really nice as well, but the fire rate is just insane. That's really awesome to use, and the damage is as nice as too. So it's really nice to use. And yeah, you have of course the additional 22% damage out of cover, which means almost 14k, and it's not maxed out, so which means about 3k more, 17k, 1000 RPM. That's really nice, and most of the targets are out of cover. As I said, this is mainly PvE, so I have Predatory here as well, so just to get extra health back and not rely on the one on Striker. That works really well for most of the PvE content. And Destructive, of course, always a nice talent for PvE content. The third talent, I think it's one of the best ones for me personally, except the house, of course, that's a really nice talent too. But yeah, in PvE you are sometimes in cover more than in PvP, and then this talent makes a lot of sense, and you see 50% increased weapon damage, up to 50%. And that's the other reason why I mean Supercharged. If you look at the bottom of my health bar, then you see I stacked my Striker, and I do stack the damage of my Big Alley. And just quickly check the stats now. 25.7k damage with the big Alejandro with 1000 RPM. I think that's really awesome, and it's, as I said, it's not maxed out. I think you can reach about 27.8k, depends of course on the firearms you have, but that's really awesome in my opinion. So that works really well. So that's why Supercharged, you can increase the damage from Striker with this build, and with the weapon talent, the third one, that works really nice together in my opinion. And of course the big Alejandro, because of his higher fire rate, it's sometimes hard to control. This is the most annoying thing about LMGs in general, the long reload time. But you see now, with the 30%, it's pretty stable and not that hard to control to land your shots. So that's really awesome in my opinion to use this gun with this build, because of the stability as well. So that's the secondary I'm using for PvE, and as I said, for me personally it works awesome. Then the talents I'm using or skills, it's just the setup for underground solo. As you see, I have the flame turret and the immunizer, and this has two reasons. And the immunizer, you see, you have 4674 health points per second you get back, so it's not that much, but it's not that less. It works really nice for me, and it's even better for me personally than this one here. Yeah, you can increase the damage, but let's be true, in PvE, yeah, I think it doesn't make that much sense. PvP, of course, it makes sense, but for PvE I think you have to rely on your damage you get and not the increased one with booster shot. But just compare it quickly. If I change out the turret, no, that was the wrong one. If I change out the turret with this one, how much health you get back from both. So first the box, and the nice thing about the box, of course.
A safe area.
Okay, I went too far in the back.
Warning.
But you see, I got more than one bar back if I blow up the box. So it's a nice health boost I get. And of course I get the heal over time as well. So if I stand in the box and fight, then I have a constant heal. That works pretty well. If I pop the booster, you see it's a little bit more, but not even 1.5 segments. So it's not that much more with a booster shot. And because the reason is the healing box relies or scales on your stamina. So how high stamina and toughness you have, and not on the skill power. And that's why it's almost the same amount as you would get if you would have the, it's on cooldown, if you would have the overdose. And the second reason is, you know it already I think, you can't shoot anymore and pop the heal, and you can't even, this is a thing I did usually, aiming and popping the heal, but it doesn't work. So you see, you have to go back and then pop the heal and go again in front. And if you put down your box on the floor somewhere, why I can't put down my box now, and if I shoot in a fight, I can even aim, I can blow it up and I get the overheal back. So this still works pretty well in my opinion. That's the other reason why I use this setup. And yeah, if I play solo, then it's really nice to have crowd control. Many underground missions are with LMBs. They can be pretty annoying, especially shotgunners, and they deal a ton of damage, although you have high toughness, but they can still 3-4 shot you almost. So it's really insane, and that's why it's nice to have a little bit crowd control, and the reason why I do use a flame turret down there. And yeah, of course, if I go into a mission or the dark zone, in the dark zone I use at the moment the recon pack to see where the division tech is and the boxes, but then you can use the scrambler of course as well. So just use the one you're comfortable with, and it depends of course where you will use it. But this was the setup for my underground mission I did. So the talents, finally. This is the thing I were using, and one of them is pretty much a bit special, probably you would think. This one is the usual one, crit save as before, and strike back to get my skills back if I'm low health. Wildfire of course, because I use the turret to spread the bleed burn effect, works pretty well. And every third NPC gets the burn effect as well. And tech support, this is probably a bit strange. But tech support, the reason why is, I mean, if you played solo, then you kill all the NPCs by yourself, and the modifier you have down there is, in underground, that you have a really long duration or cooldowns for your healing skills. So you have to wait a really long time until you get it back. And yeah, one modifier is when you shoot too much, then you get a shock. And the nice thing about the immunizer, you don't get the shock. And so you will see that you have always a shock on immunizer on your side, and for every kill you do with this talent of an NPC, you can increase the life duration of your turret and of your box. And that's the reason why I was using this one here, tech support, for this mission. But of course, as I said, if I change it out, the turret, then I would change it probably to this one here, precision, just to deal a little bit more damage and have a base pulse, or I would choose this one on the move. But probably with the Alejandro, when you're in cover, it doesn't make that much sense. So then you can really use whatever you're comfortable with. The options you have, steady hands, but I think 30% is enough, or 1 is none if your aim is really good. That's a really nice thing of course as well. Yeah, this is the setup I was using there for this one. So I hope I don't forget anything. I didn't forget anything. And if you have any further questions, then don't hesitate, just leave it in the comment section down below. I will answer and try to answer all of my comments. And thanks a lot for watching, and please don't forget to give this video a like. Do really appreciate it, helps me a lot, and subscribe if you haven't done it already. But now, thanks a lot for watching, and have fun farming in the next global event. See you in the next one. Bye bye.